What's up, family? Here with today's word of the day. Make sure my video is recording. Today's word of the day. Today is December 11th, 2019. The word of the day today is circumscribe. Circumscribe, which is a verb, and here's the definition. So, circumscribe means to constrict the range of activity of definitely and clearly. So, a sentence example of that is, his role was carefully circumscribed. To restrict the range, to constrict the range of activity of definitely and clearly. The second version of that is to define or mark off carefully. A study of plant species in a circumscribed area. To define or mark off carefully. The second definition is to draw a line around, circumscribe the misspelled words. And as soon as I looked at this word, of course, I think it's probably already going through your mind. The first thing that went through my mind, as far as a word that it reminded me of, was circumcision, of course. And that's because circum means to draw a line around. And then you got the last part of that word, and it refers to that definition. So, to surround by or as if by a boundary. Fields circumscribed by tall trees was the example they gave there. The third definition is to construct or be constructed around a geometrical figure so as to touch as many points as possible. A circle circumscribing a square. Excuse me. Okay, so synonyms and antonyms. So synonyms, synonyms for circumscribe would be to cap, to confine, to hold down, to limit, or to restrict. And then, of course, the opposite or the antonym of that is to exceed. It has a lot of relatives in English and derives from circum, meaning circle, and scribere. It's a Latin, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it's a Latin definition of that, meaning to write or draw. Among the many descendants of circum are circuit, circumcise, circumference, circumnavigate, circumspect, circumstance, and circumvent. Scribe, or scribe, I think it is. I think that's how you pronounce it, scribe. I don't know. Gave us such words as scribe and scribble, as well as ascribe, as well as what I'm going to do once I do this for a year, which is Scrabble. Those of you all that have been joining me every day, you'll get that joke. Those that haven't, go back and watch the other videos. What's going on, cuz? Hey, Desmond. Describe, transcribe, among others. Circumscribe was first recorded in the 14th century and was originally spelled circumscribe with a V, but the circumscribed spelling had also appeared at the end of the century. All right, a couple more sentences, and then we're out of here for the day. More example sentences. Those limitations are particularly acute for Esther, a solitary and hardworking African-American seamstress whose options are circumscribed. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Circumcision. Whose options are circumscribed by poverty, prejudice, and the secondary status of women in 1905 New York. The limitations, so that's the word there that describes it. The limitations are particularly acute for Esther, a solitary and hardworking African-American seamstress whose options are circumscribed by poverty, circumscribed or limited by poverty. And I'll talk, a lot of times when I do this, I'll say certain things out loud that kind of are obvious, but that's the way that I get them into my head, and for me to be able to actually hear it and understand it too. So, real life pairings are usually circumscribed by a person's social sphere, and the chances of meeting a total stranger are low. So real life parents are usually circumscribed by a parent's social sphere, so limited by a person's social sphere, and the chances of meeting a total stranger are low. So that's the word of the day, circumscribe. To construct the range of activity, to define a markup carefully, to draw a line around, or to surround by a boundary, or to surround by as if by a boundary. And then lastly, as it relates to geometry, to construct or be constructed around a geometrical figure so as to touch as many points as possible. That's it. So thank y'all for joining me for the word of the day, and join me in about 15 to 20 minutes for self-care journey day 7. We're on 7 today. And today's topic will be something about fear. I forgot the first part. It's either, it's not avoiding fear. Anyway, it's about fear. So join me back in 15 minutes. All right, thanks so much for watching. Peace.